Surf or beach fishing, you've got to love it, especially when you've got a beautiful beach like this all to yourself on a gorgeous morning, and it happens a lot. But you know, the big mistake I see a lot of people make when they go surf fishing is to burden themselves with tackle that's way too heavy for the task at hand, and then they have to use big sinkers and heavy cumbersome rigs, and the whole thing's just not pleasant. I prefer to keep it simple and keep it light. I've got a 3000 size reel here with 10-pound braid on it, 12-pound leader, a couple of hooks, a small sinker. I don't need a big sinker with this light gear, and it's just going to be a lot of fun to fish with, and I reckon I'm going to catch more as a result. I'm just going to use half a pilchard on these two hooks. I've got a nice little hole here behind me, a bit of a gutter. The tide is rising. It all feels pretty good. I reckon I might catch something. Okay, so this is my rig. I've got a running ball sinker on my leader. I like to put a little plastic bead on there. It just prevents the sinker from constantly banging against that knot and potentially damaging it. Then a small swivel, and the smaller the swivel is, the more effective it'll be. I've got about 40 centimetres of 12 or 15-pound fluorocarbon there, down to my two hooks. I've snelled two hooks onto my leader. I've got them both in this half a pilchard, and what I'll do just to secure that bait a little more is just take a half hitch of the leader around the tail of the bait. Don't go around the hook, just around the bait, and that is going to stay on quite well for a couple of casts. I doubt it'll last a couple of casts. Let's see what's in this hole. The other thing to remember is that you don't need to cast over the horizon. You can see the gutter here in front of me with waves breaking on a shallow sandbar beyond it. All I need to get my bait into the strike zone is a relatively easy lob. Job's done. Now it's just a matter of waiting for a bite.
Just a little Australian salmon. They call them salmon trout in some parts of the country. It can potentially grow up and be a 3 or 4 kilo salmon, so I'm going to put it back. But I'm getting bites straight away. There's a heap of these out there, but there'll be some bigger ones as well. But on the light tackle, I'm pinning them and I'm having fun. And when a big one comes along, it's going to be fantastic. If I was using really heavy gear, I probably wouldn't even feel these bites, and I'd be baited and not know it. So lighten up when you're in the surf.
You should quickly return any undersized or unwanted fish you catch to the surf, making sure you put them in enough water so that they can swim away rather than being washed back up the beach by the next wave.
So I like to travel nice and light when I'm beach fishing. I've got all my tackle in a backpack. I've got a bucket for my bait and hopefully to take the fish home. And most important of all, I always carry at least one of these. It's just an offcut of PVC pipe with an angle cut in the end. You can stick it into the sand, and every time you come up to rig or rebait, just drop your rod in there. It keeps the reel up out of the sand. Your gear will last so much longer. It's a really important tip, that one. Don't lie your gear down in the sand.
I'm fishing into a fairly obvious gutter here that runs right along the edge of the beach. You can see where the waves are breaking on a shallower bank on the outside of the gutter, about 50 or 60 metres in front of me. The prime spot to land my bait is close to the outside edge of this gutter, where food is being stirred up by the constant wave action. I keep a reasonably tight line, and almost immediately I feel the first staccato bites. But my first strike fails to connect. Hoping there's still some bait left on the hook, I lower the rod again and wait for the next series of bites. And this time I come up tight. It's not a big fish, but it's quite lively on this light gear. I use the rod to soak up the fish's head shakes and a surging wave to wash it up the beach.
Talking. It's still not a real big brim, but
They'd be a beauty to take home for lunch. Look at that, and they're so clean and silvery when they come out of the surf. Absolutely love them. Great little fighters too, especially on this light gear. Might hang on to that one.